Welcome to Quantbox Chennai Grandmasters. We have Pranesh, who's rated 2666. He was the winner of the Challengers tournament at the Chennai Grandmasters in 2025. Thanks to winning that event, he got an entry into the Masters, and until now, in the 3 rounds that have happened, Pranesh has had 2 draws against Dmitry Andrekin and Nodirbek Abdusattorov. He lost to Alireza Firuza in round 1 and now takes on Arjun Erigaisi, India number 1, and this is going to be definitely a tough encounter. And look who's here to make the first move. We have the 5-time world champion and the legend of Indian chess here, and he makes the move pawn to c4. It's so nice that Vishy is here. The tournament is not happening too far away from his home in Chennai. But one of the things that I've always admired about Vishy is his ability to, contribute to all the important happenings in Indian chess. Okay, handshake here, and let's begin. Arjun Erigaisi with the white pieces, thinking about what his first move should be, pushes his pawn to e4. He adjusts all the pieces. And there you see, it's a very nice gesture by Arjun not to press the clock. So first you make your move, you adjust everything, and then press the clock. And e5 instantly played by Pranesh. Now, one of the things that Pranesh hasn't been great at is his openings. He plays really well tactically, he's very sharp, but openings is something that is perhaps not up to the par when it comes to top level chess. By the way, it's the Italian on the board. However, he did go with Vaishali for her candidates, and I think slowly he is becoming a better and better opening player. But here he's playing one of the best in the world. Arjun Erigaisi's opening prep is insane. So let's see how he fares. Pawn to c3 played here. And now Pranesh goes a5. A multi-purpose move. You make a square for the bishop on a7. You also stop the expansion with b4. White castles. And now d6 or bishop a7. He goes pawn to d6, opening up the bishop. And now for white, maybe h3 is one idea, rook e1 is another, to just defend this pawn and prepare the move pawn to d4. Bishop a7 is played so that if you play d4 here, then I have bishop g4 pinning the knight. So playing d4 would be a bit too soon. So knight d2, a very useful move. You're going to go knight f1, knight g3. Bishop e6, very quickly played there by Pranesh, and he challenges the bishop immediately. Arjun says, sorry, I don't want to take here and improve your structure where you get an open file and control of d5. So bishop b5, and now black castles. And pawn to h3 played, taking control of the g4 square. We have knight to e7 played. The knight is also going to g6, just like this knight is going to g3. But now Arjun finds the appropriate time to strike in the center with d4. Knight g6, maintaining the pawn on e5. Will Arjun push d5? Because then the bishop really opens up on this diagonal. So he comes back, bishop d3. I'm a bit confused because you can go knight f4 immediately and strike here, but I think knight f4, you can drop your bishop back and then the e5 pawn remains a bit weak. So he goes knight h5. He's coming to f4 with this knight. And notice that tactics like knight e5 do not work because of knight f4, or sorry, this knight to f4 and then picking this up. So knight f1 played by Arjun, looking at the f4 square, and now knight h f4. Okay, what if I take here? By the way, bishop c2 played, but if I take here, maybe knight takes, pawn takes on e5, pawn takes e5, and the d3 bishop is hanging. So you have no time. Even if you take here, Queen g5 is a mate. Okay, let's go back. Too many lines. Bishop c2, c6 played by Pranesh. He keeps a structure which is solid. And knight g3 comes in by Arjun. And look at Pranesh's speed. Maybe this is all part of his opening prep. Who said his opening prep wasn't good? Bishop takes h3 on cards. Knight jumps to f5, immediately blocking these ideas. And now Pranesh, well, still in his prep, plays f6, showing that he can enter the big league and fight with these guys on their strength. Knight h4 by Arjun. Okay, Arjun wants to trade off this knight. And can we sacrifice here? It looks often very tempting to sack, but it sometimes just doesn't work because you trade everything and take, and then it's fine for white. So rook f e8 played this so quickly, which shows that this is his preparation. And now knight takes g6. Arjun takes with 9 minutes of thought, a first serious thought in the game, and you can take back with the knight. Taking back with the pawn is also possible, but yeah, then bishop f4 comes in. So knight takes g6, goes back, and now bishop to e3 played. He brings his bishop on this diagonal, maybe d5 on cards, taking on e5 also possible. Queen c7, Pranesh still blitzing out things, playing like a blitz game here. And Arjun taking his time again, 5 minutes, plays his pawn to a4. Maybe it's time for Pranesh to think now. He takes a bottle of water and he's like, okay, I'm going to think here. Bishop f7, but plays it in 2 minutes. So it's not like he took a whole lot of time. Queen b1 played by Arjun. I wonder what that move is all about. Maybe he wants to go b4 and use his queen on that side. Rook a d8, centralizing the rook. And now Arjun goes king h1. So Arjun's play is a little bit confusing to me. He brought his queen here, then he brought his king here. Not sure what he's trying to do. Maybe Pranesh's play is a bit difficult for him to grasp. Pawn takes pawn, taken now. And if you take back with the c pawn, I believe black wants to go d5, striking in the center. And that would be very cool. So all of black pieces are really nicely placed. Knight d4 played, but this is a mistake. And if Pranesh finds d5 with the idea of bishop b8, then it would be very, very strong. And look at him. He didn't even think for a bit. He just pushed his pawn to d5. Very impressive play. E takes d5. And now, don't even take here, Pranesh. Go bishop b8. That would be very powerful. Look at this. Bishop b8. In order to stop, you have to play g3. But no, he takes on d5 first. You know, if bishop b8, g3, bishop takes d5 check, king g1, and now c5, the knight is already very passive. And if you go back here, everything is falling apart. But bishop d5 gives chance to Arjun to take on g6 and get back into the game. He takes here. So that seems like Arjun can come back into the game now. Takes back. And now, of course, you must take queen takes g6. That's a must move. Takes. And now I believe Pranesh will go bishop b8. But at this point, there is a defense, which is pawn to f4, which I believe earlier wasn't possible with the knight on g6. So bishop b8 played and Arjun has to play f4. Notice that g3 is already pinned here. So f4 played. And now can we take on e3? He does take. Rook takes e3. And well, for Arjun, he is in massive trouble because after queen f4, e3 and h2 both are an issue. However, there is a saving grace, which is rook e8 check, which he finds it, and take here queen takes e8, king h7 with a perpetual that could happen. King h7, queen h5 check, and you can't really block with the queen because you are an exchange down yourself, so you have to play king g8, and you don't want to play anything else. Now you have to repeat, there's no other move, and so a draw is what's going to happen. Very, very interesting and exciting game, I must say, and also just very impressed with the way Pranesh handled the opening and the other parts of the game, and the players agree to a draw. Will Arjun show him this move, bishop b8? Did he see it himself? Not really. I think Arjun puts his king on e4. A draw is with white so quickly is not particularly a great result for Arjun here, because Pranesh is the lowest rated player. But I think from the position that he had, this is a good result. I want to actually analyze this position and try to show you, because often when a player like Arjun misses something, it's generally not very straightforward. So let's have a look at that position and see what Pranesh could have done better. So with the pawn pushed to d5 and takes here, if Pranesh had played bishop b8, this would have been very dangerous. Now, if you play f4, then already knight takes f4 is a killer blow, because the knight has not been traded here. Okay, so the logical move is g3, and now bishop takes d5. I'm pretty sure that Pranesh calculated till here, and maybe king g1 or king h2. Let's look at king h2. And now at this point, there is the move c5 that is playable, but there's also the move queen f7. And with this move, what you are essentially saying is that what will white do here is the big question. Let's say as white, you try to improve your position of the bishop f5. Now at this point, with this bishop angling here and the knight and the bishop looking here, you have this very nice move knight h4, with the idea with this pin to come in here. So there are a lot of weaknesses in this position, with knight jumping to e5, coming here, and so even this move doesn't look great. So let's say, for example, b3 with the idea of c4, but you're just too slow. Like you play c4 and I have c5 even, and after takes I take here, and now if you take bishop takes, there's already a check and this is falling. So all in all, it's not so clear to understand like what's happening here. How is it easy? Why should I not go knight h4 here directly, giving up this with a check, but actually improve this with queen f7? And so I think overall Pranesh did not feel the moment for playing bishop b8, but if he had done, I believe he would have quickly realized it and Arjun would have been in big trouble.